Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
Deception, Tracy uncovers the truth at the Quartermain mansion. In a shocking twist on ABC's General Hospital, the Quartermain family faces one of its most dramatic crises, yet as decades-old secrets and calculated deceptions come to light. Tracy Quartermain, the family matriarch's longtime adversary, becomes an unlikely hero when she discovers that Monica's most recent will-to-one that would give everything to Ronnie Bart is nothing more than an elaborate forgery. What makes this discovery even more explosive is what happens next. Tracy learns that Ronnie herself wasn't the mastermind behind this scheme, but rather a desperate pawn manipulated by a cunning lawyer with a vendetta against the Quartermain family. A shocking discovery at Lulu's house. As Tracy sorted through boxes of Monica Quartermain's possessions at Lulu's house, she stumbled upon something extraordinary tucked away in Alan's diploma box. The genuine will-to-real testament of Monica's final wishes lay hidden among her late husband's papers. Monica had been shrewd enough to anticipate that her twin brother Drew might attempt to manipulate her estate, so she carefully placed the authentic document where only Tracy would think to look. In an emotional moment, Tracy realized that her mother had trusted her with this crucial truth from beyond the grave. With trembling hands and newfound determination, Tracy held the notarized, authentic will in her possession. She knew exactly what needed to be done. Tracy left Lulu's house and made her way directly to the Quartermain mansion, ready to expose the conspiracy that had unfolded under everyone's noses. The dramatic confrontation. At the Quartermain mansion, the signing was about to become official. Drew sat across from Ronnie, papers spread across the coffee table, ready to finalize his purchase of the family estate. Ronnie had agreed to sell the mansion, though everyone could sense her hesitation and internal struggle. Michael Corinthos, who had come to witness this moment and support his family, watched with growing concern as Ronnie prepared to sign away Monica's beloved home. Just as the pen was about to touch the paper, an unexpected interruption occurred. Outback, the family's clever dog, came bounding into the room and snatched the documents right off the table. In a moment of comedic relief amid the tension, the dog bolted from the room with the contract firmly in her mouth. Drew, using his cane, desperately tried to chase after Outback, shouting demands that no one stop the canine thief. Michael and Ronnie exchanged knowing glances, their smiles barely contained as they watched Drew struggle to retrieve the papers. The scene was absurd, yet perfectly timed. Outback had given Tracy the precious minutes she needed. The dog's antics bought just enough time for Tracy to arrive at the mansion with her explosive revelation. When Cody finally retrieved the documents from Outback, it no longer mattered. Tracy was about to change everything. Null and void, Tracy announced as she stormed through the mansion doors, her voice ringing with authority. The sale of the house is null and void. That wasn't Monica's real will. This is. She held up the authentic document for all to see, and the room fell silent. Drew's face turned ashen as he realized his carefully orchestrated plan was crumbling before his eyes. The truth emerges: a forged will. Martin Gray, Tracy's longtime nemesis and attorney, immediately tried to downplay Tracy's claims. He insisted that his version was legitimate, that the will he had presented to Ronnie was genuine. But the notarized seal on Tracy's document spoke volumes. This was the real thing, stamped, dated, and absolutely legal. What came next was even more shocking. Under mounting pressure and emotional turmoil, Ronnie finally confessed the truth. She admitted that her version of the will-to-one that left everything to her was a complete fabrication. Monica had never intended for the house to go to Ronnie. The entire inheritance scheme was a lie, carefully constructed by Martin to exact revenge on Tracy and manipulate the Quartermain's fortune. "I didn't want to do this," Ronnie said, her voice breaking with genuine remorse. "Martin came to me with a plan. He knew I had conflicts with Tracy, but I never wanted to steal from this family. He manipulated me, threatened me, and I felt trapped." She explained that although she didn't initially know if Tracy's will was real or not, she was certain that her own version was false, and Monica never intended to leave the house to her. Ronnie revealed the story of how Martin had orchestrated everything. He had crafted a false will specifically to torment Tracy and shift control of the Quartermain estate. When Ronnie had expressed her reluctance and uncertainty about the scheme, Martin had pressured her relentlessly, reminding her of Tracy's coldness toward her and warning her about the legal consequences if she didn't cooperate. Under this duress and manipulation, Ronnie had reluctantly agreed to participate in the fraud. The real culprit exposed. Martin did this, Ronnie declared, pointing directly at the attorney who had manipulated her. He forged that will. He threatened me. He forced me into this. The lawyer's face twisted with anger and frustration as his carefully constructed scheme unraveled completely. Martin tried to defend himself, but the evidence was overwhelming. The authentic will, properly notarized and bearing Monica's unmistakable signature, proved that the document Ronnie had been given was entirely fabricated. Every legal element supported Tracy's version. There was no way to argue his way out of this. Tracy's anger was palpable as she turned to Martin. "You manipulated Ronnie, you created fraudulent documents, and you tried to steal my mother's home," she said coldly. She immediately asked Officer Chase to arrest Martin on charges of fraud and forgery, the resolution and real heir. In the aftermath of the confrontation, Ned approached his sister Laura with the truth about what Monica's authentic will actually contained. The revelation shocked even Tracy. Monica hadn't left the house to Michael or Ronnie or anyone else Tracy might have expected. She had left it to Tracy herself. After years of conflict between mother and daughter, Monica had trusted Tracy with her most precious possession, the Quartermain mansion. Ronnie profusely apologized to the family, expressing genuine remorse for her role in the deception. Though she had been manipulated and threatened, she acknowledged her complicity in the scheme. The family, understanding that she had been victimized by Martin's manipulation as much as they had been, accepted her apology with cautious grace. Drew, meanwhile, was left fuming. His grand plan to own the Quartermain mansion, to finally claim his place as head of the Quartermain family, had evaporated in moments. He had been outmaneuvered not by family members, but by a clever dog and Tracy's determination to honor her mother's true wishes. As he was escorted from the mansion, the weight of his defeat was evident in every line of his face. A mother's final gift. In the end, Monica Quartermain's legacy proved stronger than any scheme or manipulation. By hiding her authentic will where she knew only Tracy would find it, Monica had ensured that her true wishes would be honored. The Quartermain mansion, the heart of the family's history and identity, would remain with someone who truly cherished it, Tracy, the daughter who had fought so hard to protect her mother's memory. The ordeal served as a reminder that in the complex world of Port Charles, nothing is ever quite as it seems. Just when Drew and Martin thought they had secured complete victory, a small dog's instinct and a mother's cleverness turned the tables entirely. Tracy had her mother's home, the Quartermain's reputation would recover, and Martin faced serious legal consequences for his fraudulent scheme. Sometimes, justice arrives in the most unexpected ways, even with the help of a four-legged friend. Next, we will learn about the intensifying sparks between Jen Sidwell and Ava Jerome that could unravel into a whirlwind of passion and peril on the canvas of Port Charles. In the ever-twisting world of General Hospital, whispers of a magnetic pull are growing stronger between the enigmatic Jen Sidwell and the sultry Ava Jerome, hinting at a romance that might ignite like a storm over the harbor. As Sidwell, a newcomer with a shadowy past tied to underground dealings in art forgery and high-stakes gambling rings, settles into the elite circles of the town. His gaze increasingly lingers on Ava, whose own history of bold moves and unapologetic allure makes her an irresistible force. This budding connection isn't just fleeting glances, it's poised to evolve into something deeper, potentially reshaping alliances and igniting rivalries across Spoon Island and beyond. Fans have already caught glimpses of this chemistry in recent episodes, where Sidwell's sharp wit clashes intriguingly with Ava's fiery demeanor. suggesting a partnership that could dominate the social scene or drag them both into dangerous waters. The flirtations between Ava and Sidwell have been simmering since his debut, marked by subtle yet charged moments that reveal their shared hunger for excitement and control. Picture this during a tense gallery opening at the Jerome Estate. Sidwell compliments Ava's latest acquisition, a rare Renaissance painting with rumored ties to black market origins, his voice low and laced with admiration that goes beyond mere politeness. Ava, ever the opportunist, responds with a playful challenge, inviting him to debate its authenticity over a late-night scotch, their conversation weaving through art history and personal ambitions. These exchanges, building over the past few weeks, are set to reach a boiling point during the pivotal week of November 3rd to 7th, when Ava boldly proposes a private tour of her hidden vault, a move that not only showcases her vast collection, but also exposes vulnerabilities in her guarded world. This action will undoubtedly hook Sidwell deeper, as he recognizes in her the same relentless drive that propelled him from a modest upbringing in Chicago's underbelly to a position of quiet influence. Their tenacity mirrors each other. Ava's history of navigating family betrayals and corporate takeovers pairs seamlessly with Sidwell's experience outmaneuvering rivals in illicit trades, paving the way for them to form an unstoppable duo, perhaps even collaborating on a scheme to acquire a contested property on the outskirts of town. Yet, amid this rising tension, Lucy Coe's overt advances towards Sidwell are fizzling out, positioning her firmly on the sidelines of his affections. Lucy, with her flamboyant style and entrepreneurial spirit from running her fashion empire, has made no secret of her intrigue, showering Sidwell with invitations to exclusive events and sharing anecdotes from her days as a Quartermain insider. However, their interactions feel more like polite networking than genuine spark, lacking the electric undercurrent that defines true Port Charles passion. Without a catalyst like a shared enemy or a dramatic twist involving lost fortunes, their dynamic remains flat, more suited to casual acquaintances than romantic entanglements. As the November 7th episode unfolds, viewers will witness Sidwell politely deflecting Lucy's latest overture during a charity auction, his attention drifting back to Ava across the room, where she commands the spotlight with effortless charisma. This pivot underscores how mismatched Lucy and Sidwell truly are. Her bubbly energy clashes with his brooding intensity, leaving little room for organic growth in their storyline. On the flip side, Ava's compatibility with Sidwell shines through in ways that could redefine her arc, especially as Lucas Jones begins to pick up on the subtle shifts in her behavior. Lucas, still reeling from his own romantic upheavals and medical career pressures at the hospital, has long harbored suspicions about Sidwell's intentions, viewing him as a potential threat wrapped in charm. In the upcoming scenes, as Ava recounts her latest encounter with Sidwell over coffee at Kelly's diner, Lucas's brow furrows with concern, urging her to tread carefully given Sidwell's vague references to old associates from his past. He might draw parallels to past dangers Ava has faced, like her entanglements with the mob, warning that Sidwell's smooth exterior hides a web of unresolved grudges from his days evading federal investigations. Ava, true to form, brushes off the advice with a confident laugh, insisting that a bit of flirtation poses no real risk and that she's mastered the art of self-preservation through years of outsmarting adversaries. This exchange highlights Ava's independence, but it also sows seeds of doubt. Will Lucas's instincts prove prescient, pushing him to investigate Sidwell's background more thoroughly, perhaps uncovering a link to a forgotten scandal involving embezzled funds? As their flirtation deepens, there's a real danger that Sidwell's interest in Ava could morph into something far more intense, bordering on all-consuming obsession that unleashes his hidden demons. Imagine Sidwell, haunted by a betrayal from a former lover who exposed his schemes, fixating on Ava as his ideal counterpart, someone who matches his cunning and won't flinch at moral gray areas. If she reciprocates even slightly, he might shower her with lavish gestures, like gifting her a bespoke necklace echoing the style of her late husband, but laced with tracking tech to keep tabs on her movements. This possessiveness could escalate quickly, with Sidwell's dark impulses rooted in a youth spent in foster homes and petty crime taking over, leading him to isolate Ava from friends like Nina Reeves or even sabotage potential rivals. The criminal undercurrents of his world, including rumored ties to international smuggling operations, threaten to ensnare Ava, pulling her into plots that could involve forged documents or high-risk heists targeting the Casa Dini fortune. Such a descent might force Ava to confront her own thrill-seeking nature, weighing the excitement against the peril of losing her hard-won stability. Complicating matters further, other ripples in the General Hospital narrative point to shifting living arrangements that could amplify these tensions. Marco Rios, the brooding caretaker of Windermere with his own secrets from a military past, extends an unexpected invitation to Lucas to relocate there. Citing the mansion's ample space and proximity to the hospital, Lucas hesitates, torn between the isolation of the island and the comfort of his current setup, but ultimately agrees, partly to maintain a watchful eye on Ava's interactions amid the growing Sidwell drama. This decision gains urgency of Sidwell, emboldened by their chemistry, proposes that Ava join him in a luxurious penthouse overlooking the waterfront, a move that would symbolize their alliance, but also expose her to his clandestine meetings with shady contacts. By accepting Rios's offer, Lucas positions himself as an unwitting guardian, perhaps stumbling upon overheard conversations or hidden ledgers that reveal Sidwell's full extent of involvement in Port Charles's underworld. Ava, caught in the thrill, might dismiss these red flags as paranoia, but the convergence of these paths at Windermere could spark an explosive confrontation, blending romance, suspicion, and betrayal in classic soap fashion. Ultimately, Ava's dalliance with Sidwell represents a high-wire act, blending the allure of power with the shadows of intrigue that define General Hospital's most compelling tales. As their story unfolds, it promises twists that will test loyalties and unearth buried secrets, keeping viewers on the edge of their seats for what's next in this seductive saga.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.